make no mistake about it. When hunting season opens, if you're wearing camo, Colorado Department of Tourism takes the red carpet and rolls it down Main Street for those of us who are crazy enough to be here chasing the deer and elk. Gosh, I love it. These are my kind of town. So many people who watch our episodes say, how can I do this? And Colorado is probably the easiest hunt. Of all the hunts we do, this is the one that anybody can do. These guys here are from Tennessee. They filled 5 out of 6 tags. They came out here with a cargo trailer that they were gonna haul all their meat back in. And as many tags as they filled, I don't think they were overly optimistic. And I say you can do it because tags are so easy to acquire. The information and research is so available. And the staff at the Colorado Parks and Wildlife is so helpful and knowledgeable that you don't have to be an experienced elk hunter to come here and do this.
I think I can get an over-the-counter full elk tag.
You can. This is the only place after the season's open.
Right.
In Colorado, they have 92 units in the western part of the state that are over-the-counter bull elk hunts.
I think it's a great opportunity for non-residents that have never been here before.
Well, I come here every year.
If you show up before season starts, you go down to one of the 700 and some vendors, these license agents, and you just buy your tag and you go hunting when season opens. So getting the tag for a hunt like this is just a slam dunk. It is so easy. They make it easy.
If I can just get you to sign your license right here, please.
Once you have the tag, then you have to start doing your research. Where am I gonna go? Am I gonna camp? Am I gonna stay in a motel? Am I gonna hire an outfitter? What am I gonna do? And when you're doing this on your own, there is such a vast amount of information that's available from the Colorado Division of Wildlife. The first place I'd go, if I was coming to Colorado, I'd go to their website. Everything you need to plan a hunt in Colorado is on the Colorado Division of Wildlife website. And if there's one agency that stands head and shoulders above the rest as far as accommodating hunters, welcoming hunters, being knowledgeable, and doing all they can to make the non-resident hunter feel that they're gonna come here, it's the Colorado folks.
Well, thanks so much.
All right, you're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Good luck out there.
I'll need it. Take care.
Have a good day.
So I throw all my junk in the motel, load the truck, zoom up in the mountains, because I want to hunt in the evening. And I'm driving up there, I'm like, holy cow, there is a lot of snow up there. Way more snow than last year. What's that gonna do to the elk? But having that afternoon and evening to go in there and look around was very useful. On the way up here, I crossed 2 big tracks, one about 10 yards from the other, and you can tell they're just taking big, long strides, solo elk. And last year, they'd cross there, and they'd follow this ridge and drop down into that drainage where I'm going to. I'm liking this. I got 4 days to kill a bull. Onward. This week would be a dangerous week to be an elk, and I'm here for the reckoning. A lot of times when I do this show, I go to places that I'll call the glory lands of elk hunting, Arizona or New Mexico or Nevada. And people will ask me, well, why Colorado? Why elk hunt in Colorado? My first response is, why not? It's the largest herd of elk in the world. There's 300,000 elk running around these hills here. Why not Colorado? Last year, higher was the place to hunt. This year, walking in there, that first evening, it's beautiful. There's snow everywhere. The aspens are just like this big cathedral of elk hunting habitat. But it was missing one thing, lots of elk. I left there and I'm mentally making notes. Okay, I didn't see nearly the sign I did last year. All the tracks are heading downhill. I'm gonna go back in there tomorrow morning because I know it's a good spot if they're in there. But this time I'm gonna hunt that entire bench all the way down as far as I can go, almost to private ground. Left the truck about 45 minutes ago. I'm gonna get up on this bench. I'm gonna hunt it to the south for 2 miles almost south. Couldn't get here at a better time. But I just kept going and going and going and going. What the heck is this? Critter, whatever it is. Cow elk head. No pedicles for antlers. Coyotes ate the nose off it. Looks like someone shot a cow elk here. Probably processed it right here, quartered it and boned it, and then they got a couple mile pack to get it out of here. That's cool. Good for them. Well, nice to know that somebody shot something. And there was less and less tracks. That night before, it had snowed 2 or 3 inches, and there was not a fresh track to be found. Looks like bringing my sled here might have been a bit optimistic, given that all the tracks are heading down and there aren't that many tracks, not like in past years. I'm gonna hunt lower, so Mr. Sled gets to come down with me. All the tracks there were old, 2 to 3 days old, and they were all going down to the lower country. And when I looked at the snow conditions, I could understand why. Right now, there's really 2 layers of snow in here. The first layer is about 10 inches deep and it's really crusty. And then there's a soft layer of about another 10 inches on top of that. And you step on that soft layer, and just when you think it's gonna hold you, you break through the crusty. Elk are grazers. They can't take that soft cover off there and then scrape away and get that frozen and packed cover of snow off there. So they gotta move. I gotta move. If the elk move, the hunter better move. Everything is heading downhill. Even the old tracks that have a lot of snow in them, they're heading downhill. My strategy when I hunt elk and I know they've moved out is I usually start as high as I can. And if I'm not seeing anything, I go lower. I don't go super low, but I go where I think they may not even be there yet. And then I start working my way back up as far as altitude and elevation. Yee-hoo! Dang it! I didn't even get halfway down the hill. I was so sure that they were gonna be up there, but not much for tracks. The few that are there are heading downhill. So, once again, flummoxed by the fickle finger of fate. So the second afternoon, I'm thinking, well, I know there's some of these BLM roads that go up and get right on the edge of the Forest Service. I'm gonna try that. If I can figure out how to get to it, that's BLM up on top of that ridge there. And I went up there, it is, oh man, it's a nasty road. It took me, I think, 1 hour and 40 minutes to go 6 miles. And I get there, and there are our other hunters. There's so many people, it's not like you're taking someone's spot. There's just too many spots that are claimed and staked out. It's public land hunting. But right at dark, just last little bit of light through my spotting scope, I'm looking down in this drainage. And I can see, here comes a group of elk. There's like 5 or 6 cows. And in the back is a 4x4 bull. I'm thinking, aha, I'm gonna be back here in the morning. This is gonna be a good place to shoot a bull. With any luck, all the activity will put a few elk on the move. The sun just went down behind the mountain, so won't have too much time left here. That's all right. Cool place. So get up, morning 3, beautiful looking weather. It's just clear as a bell, no wind. Get in my truck and I start snaking up this trail. And I'm driving by all these camps and people are just, looks like they're just getting up. They're either that or they're still sleeping. And I'm thinking, aha, I got it. I'm gonna be the first guy there. Well, then all of a sudden I can see this convoy of ATVs catching up to my pickup truck. Here comes the ATV crowd. They ride your trail all the way up here, and then they come up here, and then they turn around and go back. You know what? These people are probably gonna take some of these little spur roads. I'm gonna pull off here. I only got about another half mile to go and I'll be at my parking spot. So I pulled to the side, let these 8 ATVs go by me, drive up there. Unfortunately, here they are. This is crazy. They're all right where I wanted to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ATVs. I'm definitely finding a different spot. I don't care if there was a legal bull in here or not. This is out of control. They're wonderful guys. I stop and talk to them. Some are from Missouri, some from California. Like me, non-resident hunters here just trying to find an elk on the public land. I'm one of those guys who looks for more solitude. I'm one of those guys who, from a tactic standpoint, I'm gonna use that hunting pressure to my advantage. They're down here. I'm gonna gain elevation anywhere from 500 to 1,000 feet above them because all that traffic down there bumps these elk back up. So that was my strategy. This place is crawling with people. I'm gonna let those guys bump the elk, push them up to me. I've been up high, they weren't up there. I've been down low, I saw a bull, but the hunting pressure is extreme. Where's this mid-level stuff that I can hunt? I look on the map and there's this road that cuts through a little corner of BLM and then goes back onto private. Well, I stop at that BLM and I just walk these ridges way out there, get right on where the BLM and Forest Service meet, and there are some elk. I can see a couple hunters out there, and I know those are the guys that are hunting from the bottom where all the traffic is. I'm up here, this is where the elk are. Now there's about 20 of them there. I see these elk and they're feeding and they're feeding, and I look and I can tell at least one of them's a good legal bull. I got about 20, 30 minutes at the most of filming light. I got 2 legal bulls right over here. I know I don't have much time. I drop down off that little point I'm glassing from and I go and I go and I go, and when I get there, all I can see is cows. And there's a fence line that runs east and west. All of the public lands to the south of that east-west boundary. The north of it is private. Here's the fence right here. The boundary runs east and west. I gotta stay on the south side. Gotta get going. Running out of light. And where are the elk? They're 70 yards to the north of the fence. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. They stood there and they fed and they fed. And I'm looking, there's one group of 4 legal bulls. And they come off that bench and I can just make them out as they're working their way through the oaks and they're coming kind of directly towards me. I'm thinking, you know what, there's a little draw right below me. If they cross that fence before I run out of filming light, the game's over. Really nice 5x5 up there in the group in the meadow. I gotta cross this fence. I've got 10 minutes of shooting light left, but I don't have 10 minutes of filming left. Coming right towards us. That was a big if. They fed just 100 yards away from me, just on the other side of the property boundary. And one of them is a nice legal bull. He's a 5x5. So I let him go. And visions of that elk danced in my head all night last night. I'm excited. I wake up this morning, I'm thinking, you know what? Last night I think I saw 7 or 8 legal bulls. And yeah, some were on private, but they were all kind of heading a direction that was going to take them on public. This morning I walked in from the west and I just stood there as the sun was coming up. Saw a nice 6-point bull coming through this bottom to my south there. But it was too early. That you just can't. Especially when you're filming into the sun. You can't get enough light to see them. It's frustrating. I've been here for 4 days. I've worked my butt off. I've hiked all kinds of places. I've seen elk, but I'm here to produce a TV show to show people how fun it is to hunt in Colorado. And it is a ton of fun. And I looked at the weather forecast. The weather forecast says tomorrow, rain in the morning, turn into snow in the afternoon with winds of 30 miles an hour. That's not conducive to elk hunting. So right now I'm thinking, all right, it's noon. I better get an elk on the ground this afternoon or this evening. Fresh elk tracks here. I don't like to equate hunting to pressure or whatever, but I really want to kill a bull. It's just a personal pride thing. I want to shoot a bull. So I'm putting some pressure on myself to say, Randy, focus, figure out what you've done wrong, figure out what you've done right, put those together and go do it. Elk is in the air. For sure, it's elk time. On the last day, I was absolutely sure this is it. It's all gonna come together. Spent the first few days way up in the high country. I said, I gotta go lower. So I go lower and I spent 2 or 3 days in this oak brush. But finally, the last afternoon, I'm standing there and I can just see the heads of elk, bulls and cows, walking through this oak brush. I just saw a big group of elk out here, about 3/4 of a mile out there, and they're going downhill. And there were 4 hunters on this little ATP trail down here that, I mean, the hunters are going this way and the elk are going that way. It's like they're gonna intersect. So after seeing these elk moving towards me, I said, I really have no choice. This is the last evening. I'm going for it. They're way over there. I know they're out there, but I can't see them. And I get within probably 100 yards and I can hear cows calling. I'm like, now I am close. And there's a bull standing there and he's walking down the hill. This is gonna come together. There goes a bunch of bulls. It's 300 yards. I get set up, and just as I think I'm gonna take the shot, he steps into some more oak and he's obscured. I'm not gonna take that shot. I'm not taking a 300-yard shot, even though he is really a nice bull. I just gotta pass. I've lost sight of him, but I can hear all these cows down and to my right. I backtrack and I go around it and I get on the other side, and finally here's this big cluster of elk just standing there. And they're obscured by each other and by the oak brush. And I'm thinking, come on, one of you bulls gotta clear this. And this one bull comes over and he just stands there and he's a perfect shot. Other than he's got a cow that if I miss, or even if I hit him, there's a good chance I'm gonna hit the cow. And I wait and I wait, and finally here they come. Last one comes through, gone. How that many elk can walk, run through here? I can't even get a shot on camera. Beyond me. Gotta go. How could I work this hard? How could I be within 100 yards of I don't know how many elk and not get a shot? It seems impossible. But it's not over yet. I still have some time, and I can hear them walking through the oaks. I can hear them cow calling, but it's so thick. I'm trying to figure out now, how am I gonna get there? And I'm just parting these oaks and tearing my way through them. And I look, and here's an elk looking at me at about 20 yards. And her thought was the same thought as mine. This is not good. She's running back towards the herd, and anyone who's hunted elk knows that when one elk takes off running, the others don't stop to ask questions. They follow. I can't take a chance that I'm gonna hit the wrong elk, or I'm gonna hit more than one elk. And as bad as I wanted to shoot an elk here in Colorado, as hard as I have worked, I'm just not gonna take that chance. I came here, I had 4 days to hunt. I did everything I possibly could. It wasn't due to lack of opportunity. It was due to the fact that filming and cameras and everything else add a lot more complication to it than you would have if you came to Colorado. Peace, brother. Next year I'll be here. And I'm gonna have more than 4 days, and the outcome's gonna be different. You know, this Colorado hunt that I did was probably as much fun as anything I could ever ask to do. I had, I don't know how many bulls within 100 yards of me on the last day, and I didn't even fire a shot. But that's the beauty of hunting. Sometimes your fondest memories will be of those elk just going over the horizon, and you didn't fire a shot. It'll be those elk coming towards you down a trail, but you don't have an ethical, clean shot. Those are the memories that are gonna be burned in my mind. It's this large amount of public land. It's just these volumes of elk that live here that are gonna bring me back to Colorado next year, and the next year, and the next year. Well, they don't call me next year Newberg for nothing.
Always next year.